It's dark. You're not going to see me, but I'm coming up to Portland right now. I wanted to do one last. I'm hoping to go ahead and make it all the way to the city limit sign of Corpus. But I think it's still another 12 miles. But look, I walked over 20 miles, trust me. I make a few notes and the phone's dying on me. So I'm going to have to stop and charge the phone. And look, if I make it into the city limit of Corpus, I saw the Harbor Bridge. That's not it there, but I saw the Harbor Bridge from a few miles back. But then the highway turns like away from it. And if it was just a straight line to the Harbor Bridge, it would have been a lot less. Just a few updates, being I got a little charge, and I should be able to upload it and it'll be dead again. As I walk on the top, right now I'm the access road, but as I walk on the top, which I prefer, there's a couple of times where if you walked, I've walked the SPID from Flower Bluff like into Ayers. I don't know if I've gone that far, but I have walked all the way from my house to City Hall, which is only like 13 miles. But here, when you're walking against the traffic, which I think is the safest way, that's the movie theater, I believe. As I was getting closer to it, I don't know if you could see, I thought, oh, that's the bridge, because it colors up at night. But it's hard to walk on the top, because at one point, there's a lot of debris on this like road. And at one point, I was tripping over stuff. There's for a good few miles, 5, 6 or so, there were no lights at all on like this lower road. And you get a little, when you drive, you kind of get that sense of, you know, when you make long drives, you kind of hallucinate a little. Of course, when you're walking, it's not as dangerous because you're going slow. But at certain points, you see the grass. Here, you could tell. But when there's no light and the headlights of the cars come up, the grass and the access pavement that I'm walking on looks the same because it was rough. And you're thinking, oh, am I in the grass? So, of course, you know, you don't have sidewalks everywhere. But I would prefer to walk there on top. I might actually, that's what I've been doing, kind of cutting across. I believe it's shorter than me walking here on the bottom. I wanted to, I might do it if I make it to the city limit sign. This is Portland here. So right past Portland is the water, and that's the same water you see me when I'm on North Beach. So I'm so close now. My wife, look, I've had people beeping at me all during this walk. I don't know why. But then I saw a car go by a little while ago, blinking lights, and I guess it was my wife. It was, but I said, oh, it might be. So Debbie and my wife stopped and said, do you want us to give you a ride? I said, look, I've come this far. I don't want to go home, you know, it's like wasting this walk. I'll never do Rockport to Corpus again. And just a few notes. I wanted to mention, and I don't know if this will be, I'll have enough to upload this or not. This is coming into Portland there. There was a much better view at some other spots where it was pitch black, and I saw the Big Dipper, and beautiful view. But it was pitch black, and so you could see the stars. Right now, it's not as clear. I wanted to mention, I didn't think of this until I began this little rollout today. Many years ago, somebody said you cannot walk from Rockport to Corpus Christi. Now, I wish I had light, but I don't, okay? So you could listen, like I used to do radio. Who told me that? I had a DUI. Now listen, people think I lie about it. I had a DUI, and it was on Padre Island. It's the beach, ocean, where we live. But it was on Padre Island National Seashore. For that reason, it was considered a federal case, because it was federal National Seashore. Now, for whatever reason, the police station, I'll mention this a little bit. The day that they stopped me, I had drank 2 40s. These are the 40 ounces. I kid George about some of my friends. But I had drank 2 40s. And then I went and got either an 8-pack or a 6-pack. And I drank 2 cans out of that 8-pack or 6-pack. But I had already drank 80 ounces of malt liquor Magnum. When I got stopped, they said I swerved or something like that, I forget. But they saw, like, oh, he's been drinking, you can smell it. Now, I did the little walk, like, and surprisingly, I passed, for the most part, I walk fine, even when I'm very drunk. Now, the cops thought I didn't lie to them, but they thought I only drank 2 cans of beer, because there were only 2 cans missing out of the 6 or 8 pack. Budweiser, and the 40s I threw out. I drank them and I threw the bottles out, okay? You don't, when you're driving and if you finish your beer, you don't keep it in your vehicle. And he looked like, he said, you know, your eyes looked a little bloodshot for just 2 beers, but I walked fine. But I got arrested because at one point he said, just blow into this breathalyzer. And look, I was at least 2 times over the legal limit because I don't eat, and I still didn't eat at that time. So I said, now, go ahead and take me in. They couldn't really tell. They almost thought I only had 2 beers. Of course, I had a lot more than 2. When I went, the jail that they brought me to was in Rockport, because for that particular time, maybe it's still that way, any of the federal court cases, and it was federal because it was on Padre Island National Seashore, any of those, they had a contract with whatever county was going to hold those guys. And at that time, that's how it worked. So I was in the Rockport City Jail. County jail is city jail, but it was in Rockport, where I just left on this walk. And I remember they hold you in the drunk tank for 4 hours or whatever. And then they release you. And they asked me, and of course my car was impounded, and I lost my license, I think, for 6 months. But they ask you, how are you going to get home when you leave? I said, I'm going to walk. And the cop said, you can't walk to Corpus Christi. Now, I didn't that night, because I was basically still hungover and somewhat drunk, I guess, from drinking that day. But it came to my mind. And when I went to Rockport this last year, just for various things, driving, I always thought, I said I was going to do that. Now that sounds silly, but that was in my mind. I didn't plan that today, but as I was walking, I was thinking of that. The other thing, so like I said, my wife and daughter, they just stopped by, and they got me a pack of cigarettes, because I smoked out of the pack. I had a full pack when I started the day. So today we went all the way to, I think I left Rockport at about 2:30 or 3. It was that one video where I said, I think I'm going to do this walk. I'd like to make it into the city limit sign. I think it's still only maybe 10 miles. This is Portland. I'll at least make it to the water where you see me by North Beach. I won't go all the way to North Beach, but I'll at least make it to that body of water when you leave Portland and you're heading in to the Harbor Bridge. So that just came to my mind. Like, you finished some of your commitments, some of your promises. There's a lot of scriptures on that. I'll just do this one as an update. And the phone's going to be dead again, so I'm still going to have to stop. I think it at least recorded this.